Thank you for tuning in to Pro Wrestling News and Rumors. This is my first YouTube video. I have a Facebook page. The link will be in the description if you want to follow that. It is Pro Wrestling News and Rumors at Facebook. I'm going to be giving a review and my thoughts on Monday Night Raw last night, as well as my thoughts on Slammiversary that was this past Sunday, as well as a few rumors that I've been hearing about. Okay, here we go. Impact Slammiversary happened this past Sunday, and the main event was Tessa Blanchard versus OVE's Sami Callihan. It was a back and forth match, had a lot of great action, a lot of great spots. Impact has really done a great job of building Tessa Blanchard up to be what I think WWE wants Becky Lynch to be. She is a top 5 wrestler in my opinion, man or woman. She had some really good, cool moments in this match. There was one part where I think she was going off the top rope and she kind of bumped into Sami Callihan and with her face, and it looked like she broke her nose. There was a little bit of blood coming out of her nose. I mean, they just beat the crap out of each other. None of it looked fake or phony. It was some hard-hitting action, and it was one of the best wrestling matches I've seen this year. So kudos to Impact and whoever put together that match. It was a great match. Also, it had Brian Cage, who is the Impact champion, defending his title against Michael Elgin. Michael Elgin, he wrestled in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's wrestled in ROH. There was some talk before he went to Impact of WWE really being hot on him, trying to sign him and bring him to NXT, but it fell through and he wound up going to Impact. He played it up as a really good heel in this match, and the setup for the feud of him beating the crap out of Brian Cage, trying to make his stake that he should be champion. Brian Cage, if you follow Impact, you know he's coming back from an injury. A lot of people think it's a work. I kind of think it's both. I think it was legit, but not super serious as they were playing it up to be. But they did use it to their advantage and add it to the storyline. It was a really good, hard-hitting contest. Brian Cage wound up getting the victory. I was very surprised with that. I thought he was going to lose the title because I really did think his back was injured. I mean, it was a great contest. Back to Sami Callihan and Tessa Blanchard. I forgot to say who actually won that match. Tessa Blanchard lost. I was pulling for her to win, but I mean, in all seriousness, what you want to do is you want to have, if you're trying to have wrestling look real, if you're going after that audience, the hardcore fans, the audience that wants it to look legit and not phony. I mean, she's a great wrestler, like I said, top 5 in my opinion, man or woman. She can hang in there with the best of the best. The crap that they done to each other, beating each other up, I mean, you put Sami over, it doesn't hurt him. If he would have lost, it wouldn't have hurt him either, but having him win, to me, makes him, he's going to move on to bigger and better things. He could possibly be challenging Brian Cage for the Impact Championship, which I think would be an excellent feud, an excellent match if Brian Cage is healthy. As for Tessa Blanchard, I think she needs to maybe go back to fighting for the Knockouts title. I don't know exactly when her contract's up, but if her contract is up soon, she might be one to think about going to AEW or WWE. If she goes to WWE, they have a stronger women's division, but my only fear there is she would get buried and put to the side to the likes of Charlotte and Vince's favorites. I mean, Charlotte is a great wrestler. She's a good heel, but she's also one of Vince's favorites, and that's my fear, is if she goes there, she'll have to job out to Charlotte, and she's better than that. She's above that. But if she goes to AEW, they have a weaker women's division, in my opinion. Yes, they have some talented women there, with the likes of Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, I can't remember their names, the 2 Asian women that they had wrestle. I think they're under contract with them. Allie, I think Allie Impact or Allie AEW or Allie Elite, whatever she goes by now. They have her. They have Leva Bates as the librarian. I mean, they have some talent, but in my opinion, and Kylie Ray, I think is her name. Yeah, Kylie Ray. They've got some work to do with their women's division. WWE has the strongest women's division in pro wrestling right now, in my opinion. I would say Impact has the second strongest. ROH and AEW, they have some work to do with their women's division. I mean, they have some work to do. But if I was Tessa, I would go to WWE, or I would stay in Impact. I mean, she's done all there is to do in Impact. She's never really conquered that WWE mountain. I mean, maybe with Bischoff and Paul Heyman being in charge and Triple H running NXT, maybe things will be different, and my fear won't come true that she'll be jobbing out to Charlotte. They had a tag team title match, tag team title triple threat. It was the Rascals versus LAX, the former champions, versus the North, the current champions. It was a good match. It was solid. I mean, it didn't wow you. It didn't. If you watch it and you're like, oh, this is what I want to get into. This makes me want to get into Impact. It was okay. It wasn't a stinker of a match, but it wasn't the best. They had some pretty cool spots. They had this one where one member of LAX was injured. I thought it was legit at the time, but it's just a work. I'm thinking it's about they're writing him off TV because LAX's contract is soon to be up, and they're going to be leaving the company and either headed to AEW or WWE. Both companies have extreme interest in the tag team. Johnny Impact took on Rich Swann for the X Division Championship. It was a good contest, back and forth. I mean, they had this one sequence at the end of the match. If you haven't seen this match, if you don't want to watch the whole pay-per-view, try to YouTube or Google this match. At least the last spot of the match where Rich Swann goes crazy and hits a bunch of moves, and he gets the 1, 2, 3. He retains over Johnny Impact, whose contract is up with Impact Wrestling, and there's rumors that he might stay. He might go back to WWE. He might go to AEW. He might even go to New Japan, I've heard. I mean, personally, I would like to see him stay. But if he goes back to WWE, I'd be fine with that. And if he goes to AEW, I'd be fine with that too. I mean, I'm all for pro wrestling and wrestlers being featured. There was a few more matches on Impact. I'm not going to cover them all. I've just given you a brief rundown of some of the matches that really stood out. The women's match, the Fatal 4-Way, the Monsters Ball match, it had some really insane spots. Taya Valkyrie had a staple gun, and she stapled a picture of herself to, I think it was Su Yung, to her forehead. I mean, there was thumbtacks involved. I mean, that's another one. You'll just have to watch it. Me sitting here describing what happened in that match doesn't do it justice. You have to go back and watch that one. That was a really good one. Overall, I give Impact Slammiversary, I give it 3.5 out of 5 to 4 out of 5 stars. I would say 4 out of 5 stars. I mean, it was a good match, from top to bottom. I mean, every match was good. RVD versus Moose was on it. I mean, it was a good match. It wasn't a standout, but I mean, it was good. It was decent. But yeah, if you haven't watched it, watch it. I mean, if you can't, pay out $40 to support Impact Wrestling, go on YouTube and watch some of the highlights. I mean, it was a really, really good show. Now, about Monday Night Raw, a lot of people were like, oh, I hate Seth and Becky being together on TV. They're saying that weakens the man, that weakens Becky's character. I'm all for it. I mean, they seem happy together. They seem happy in real life. They seem happy, on camera as characters. It's coming out that, to me, they legitimately care about each other. I think, they have good on-screen chemistry together. They're good in the ring, both of them is. To me, he is the standout of Monday Night Raw as far as wrestling goes. I mean, every match he's in is good. He gives it his all, and he really actually cares. To me, it seems like he cares about the matches he puts on and the quality of wrestling. Becky's the same way. I think she cares about the quality matches she puts on. A lot of people dog her about oh, she only has a good match when she's in the ring with Charlotte, or it's just forget all that nonsense. She's good. She's one of the best women wrestlers there is. They wrestled Andrade and Zelina Vega in a mixed tag team elimination match. I mean, that was kind of weird, that rule, mixed tag team elimination. I mean, but once, Zelina Vega got eliminated, there was like some confusion. They were saying Becky can't really get in the match because Zelina was eliminated, and that's the only way that was kind of confusing. But the match itself was good. It had some really cool spots. Andrade ran into Becky. He accidentally hit her. He didn't mean to. He seemed really upset that he'd done that. He didn't want to hit a woman. Then Seth Rollins beat the crap out of him, and the babyfaces got the win. I was happy. But Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans come out, and they beat the crap out of Becky and Seth. I mean, it's going to be, to me, it's going to be a good match. And, I mean, it could go either way at Extreme Rules. The mixed tag match between Becky, Seth, Lacey, and Baron for both belts, the Women's Championship, Raw Women's Championship, and the Universal Championship. It could go either way, but I think Seth and Becky will retain. There was a spot where Rey Mysterio came back. He took on Bobby Lashley. Lashley squashed him in like less than 5 minutes, beat the crap out of him, teased that he was going to throw him through the screen at the entrance. I mean, he teased that he was going to, and he didn't. He threw him on top of a pile of referees. I'm happy to see Lashley being used as a monster again. Makes him more credible from when he goes against Braun Strowman. It was decent, that part was. They had some comedy with R-Truth and his wife about the 24/7 championship, and she's upset and all this because he's paying more attention to the title than he is her. R-Truth tried multiple times to get his 24/7 title back. He didn't get it back. Comedy spots in this, I think, are fine. When it's not, the whole show's not comedy. I mean, it was all right. Then you had Beat the Clock Challenge between Nikki Cross and Bayley. Bayley took on Sarah Logan, and she beat her. I can't remember the exact time, but she beat her. It was like 3 minutes and change. Nikki Cross took on Dana Brooke. It was a decent match. I mean, she beat her really fast. She beat her under the 3-minute time limit, so she gets to pick the stipulation between Alexa Bliss and Bayley at Extreme Rules. And it is now going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm trying to think of what else of importance. There was a couple of people backstage Shane and Drew McIntyre were talking to, trying to convince him to be Roman's tag team partner, because they got to pick his tag team partner. Well, there was a janitor. He had a limp. They spoke to him, told him he'd get $5,000 for just standing on the ring apron and doing nothing. He agreed to do it. They said they put him under a mask so nobody would know who he was. They make their way out. Roman makes his way out. His tag team partner makes his way out. And this dude gets accidentally tagged in because Roman gets pushed over there at him. And this dude just starts tearing it up. He starts doing all kinds of crazy moves. At one point, I was like, who is this guy? I was like, is it Jay Lethal under the mask? Because it looked like he was going to go for a lethal injection at one point. But they lose because he gets Claymore kicked in the face. And then after the match, Roman Reigns starts to untie the mask. And they take it off, and it's Cedric Alexander, who is in disguise of the janitor clothes, I guess, and the luchador mask. He surprised me with the spots that he did. I mean, at least he got on TV. At least he was being used. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, he's a talent that they should be pushing to the moon because he's really, really good. I always, enjoyed his work on 205 Live. I thought he was underutilized there, even though he was the champ. But yeah, he's got a bright future if they decide to push him, and hopefully they do. That was the main event, and that's the way Raw went off the air. Before all that, there was a 6-man elimination tag team match with the Usos and the Miz taking on Elias and the Revival. I mean, I didn't want to talk too much about this match because it was 2 out of 3 falls. I get tired of 2 out of 3 falls matches. They've been having them so much now because they don't want to have as much commercials, especially during wrestling. And I mean, to me, the match is alright. It was decent. It wasn't terrible. I've seen worse. The Usos are now rumored to be taking on the Revival for the tag team titles this Sunday at Extreme Rules. To me, the Usos are a great tag team, one of the best, if not the best, in professional wrestling. And, you know, the Revival, they're not terrible. They're good wrestlers, but to me, they just lack something. I don't know what it is. I'm not huge fans of them, but I don't hate them. So, I mean, that match could go either way, in my opinion, and I wouldn't be hurt. Ricochet, he took on Luke Gallows and defeated him. He took on Carl Anderson and he defeated him. And then AJ got in the ring and beat him up. And then the club, they'd done their thing. They'd done the magic killer to him. They beat him up. Then AJ said he was going to leave a little bit left for this Sunday because, you know, he wants to leave just a little bit left of Ricochet for him to beat him up and take his United States Championship. He teased that he was going to do a super Styles Clash off the top rope, but he didn't do it. They got back in the ring and beat him up, and then they done the Too Sweet. I really like AJ as a heel. It fits him better. I love that they're using the club, the Good Brothers, you know, Gallows and Anderson. But I know I was kind of out of order and kind of all over the place. Just bear with me. I'll get better at it. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off and get ready and go watch SmackDown. And I'll post you know, my thoughts on SmackDown, and I'll definitely post my thoughts on Extreme Rules. Just, you know, like, share the video, subscribe. You know, I'm going to try to do these at least once a week, maybe more. And also follow Pro Wrestling News and Rumors on Facebook. And one other thing, here's a rumor of the day. Kofi Kingston is rumored to be injured. He was pulled from SmackDown event last night. He didn't work it, and he wasn't on Raw. I figured he'd be on Raw, but because they've been having him every week since this wild card rule was in effect. But anyways, that's the rumor of the day. Kofi Kingston's injured, but he is expected to still defend his WWE Championship against Samoa Joe at Extreme Rules. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video short. Just like, subscribe, share, and follow Pro Wrestling News and Rumors on Facebook. And y'all have a good day, or what's left of it. Peace.